The 43rd Congress of the European Society of Cataract and Refractive Surgeons took place in Copenhagen last month. Here, OT summarises 4 research papers of interest to optometry that were presented during the conference. Researchers from Moorfields and University College London have successfully used artificial intelligence to predict which patients with keratoconus need treatment to stabilise their corneas and preserve their eyesight. Researchers used AI to study over 36,000 OCT images from over 6,500 different patients, along with their patient data. The AI algorithm could accurately predict whether a patient's condition would deteriorate or remain stable, using images and data from their first visit alone. Using the AI, their researchers could sort 2/3 of patients into a low-risk group who did not need treatment, and the other third into a high-risk group who needed prompt cross-linking. When information from a second hospital visit was included, the algorithm could successfully categorize up to 90% of patients. The next story is 2 papers looking into bilateral cataract surgery. Traditionally, one eye would be operated on, and then a short time later, the other eye would have the same surgery. Anecdotally, this is the primary method in the US and in some parts of the UK. The surgeons did 157 bilateral cataract surgeries. They then surveyed the patients on arrival home, and 24 hours later. Of this, 72% responded. This showed that 88% of patients could find their way around at home independently, 79% managed to prepare food, and 51% did not need help using their mobile phone when they arrived home following surgery. On the other hand, 51% still needed help to use their eye drops. 62% said they did not need a caregiver in the first 24 hours. The other study found that same-day cataract surgery resulted in visual outcomes that were as good as or even better than those of patients who had the surgery on separate days. This was particularly true for patients who received multifocal lenses, with 85% achieving 20/20 vision or better. The study suggests that same-day cataract surgery can improve vision, reduce dependence on glasses, and lead to a faster recovery. Dr. Joaquin Fernandez said, "Taken together, these 2 studies show that cataract surgery to both eyes in one session can be performed safely, with all patients recovering well at home and, crucially, achieving a visual outcome as good as or better than when surgery is performed in 2 steps. This should reassure patients, their families, and surgeons that safety is not compromised." A study looking into laser correction of short-sightedness found that the procedure is as safe and effective in older teenagers as it is in adults. The retrospective study included a group of patients with myopia who were treated in Tel Aviv. This occurred between January 2010 and June 2024, with 65,000 eyes treated in total. They found that the outcomes for older teenagers were as good as, or even better than they were for adults. Around 64% of the teenagers' eyes achieved 20/20 vision, compared with 59% of adult eyes. The proportion of eyes that required a second treatment was very low in both groups. Complications such as hazy vision or weakening of the cornea were also very rare in both groups.